Hello. Good morning. Hello, Rhonda. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, all right. Okay. Sorry, just waiting for the coffee to still kick in, even though this is cup number 3, but hey, it's all good. So, welcome to, or well, something like that. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you for being here uh, on this Memorial Day weekend. So, first and foremost, thank you to all the men and women, past, present, and future, for your services for our country. And, we definitely are thinking about you this entire weekend. Hello, good morning, Sharon. And we can't thank you enough for what you've all done and the sacrifices you've all made. So, again, thank you so much. And, we're all thinking of you, not just this weekend, but all the time. And that's the important thing. So, hello, Margaret. Good morning. Um, so yeah, long weekend. I think for most of us that are still worker bees, so we're we're doing what we got to do to continue on. Good morning, Nancy. So, uh, yeah, it's all kinds of things. This is going to be a kind of a weird. I don't even know if you want to say weird, but it's definitely going to be. Good morning, Nicole. It's going to be all over the place. Not in the sense that um, I'm having weird screen issues. Wow, my blocking the noticing. I've got a little thing. That's okay. It's just not enough light up there for some reason right now. That's okay. It looks creepy though. Let me try this one. Well, that'll help. Just going to be more. I'm going to have shadows on my face, even though I don't want that, but that's okay. Let's see. Move it there. See if that helps. Okay. So yeah, the other big thing, like I said, those are going to be all over the place in the sense that there's just so much that's gone on this past week, and a lot of you have been dealing with so many things as well. And I'm sure some of you, if you guys made it to the Wednesday night show with Debbie and I, good morning, Jill. Oh, thank you, Margaret. And oh, thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I mean, it's been a crazy thing, and something I will talk about, but obviously I won't harp on it too much, just because we've enough of it's been talked about, and I think everybody's already in that point of moving on, which is interesting because it is going to tie into some stuff that I am going to talk to you guys about and share with you. But one of the other things I got to say, not that he's ever going to watch this, and those of you that are friends with my personal page, which again, um, I'm not really going through and accepting everybody, I'm trying to keep it to close family and friends. So, but those that didn't see it, it's my son's 10th birthday, so that's pretty exciting. My second kid, but the last kid to leave the single digit age. And so now he's officially a double digit kid. And so it's kind of cool. So once I get done with this, we're pretty much going to try to hang out with him for the rest of the day with the fam. And, we're not sure if we really don't have anything scheduled or planned for him today. So we'll just kind of roll with it, but it'll still be kind of cool. But we got a few gifts for him and stuff like that, so hopefully he'll like those. And some of them he'll be pretty blown away by. And so there could be just that he might just be glued to some of the gifts that we got him, and that's okay. But so that's kind of cool. And then I'm also going to take the opportunity now while I'm live to also say that on Monday is my daughter's 13th birthday, so it's an early happy birthday to her, since I won't be live on Monday. So yes, I am now going to have a teenager officially in my house. Not that she hasn't been acting like that, for quite some time, but it's how it is, right? And so that'll be exciting. So yeah, it's always this end of the month every year that it's kind of interesting that again, those that are friends with me on my personal page, you get you get me writing one, on the 29th, and then you get another one on the 31st. So it's a pretty busy weekend. So 10 and 13 for both my kids. So that's kind of cool and neat. Um, but yeah, so I got my mind focused on that a little bit. So, I'm not going to be too much, on Facebook and things like that. But thanks, Sharon. Yep. And yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. And so we'll see. We'll see how the whole weekend plays out. But yeah, that's the fun part about it all. Hello, good morning. Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Teenage years, woo wee. Like I just said a moment ago, I'm like, you know, there's it's almost felt like teenage years started maybe about 2 years ago, but so we'll we'll see how it all plays out. But uh, yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just gonna be careful, try not to lose my cool. Those that have raised teenagers already, you know, and even then, we do, have memory flashbacks of that as well. We know what it's like to grow up being a teenager and what we were like to our parents. So, hopefully some of us weren't as bad, and obviously we have moments, but yeah, I don't remember being too much of a trouble for them. Exactly, Margaret. Yeah, you've had your plenty to go through, but that's the thing is you hope that you can kind of help them out, work them through that. Thanks, Nicole. And you know, I'm trying, at least trying to give my perspective on things, and things are bothering, how to work through them or how to handle them and stuff like that. And so, there's been a few times that most of my daughter's been able to kind of change the way things are, but or react in a way that it's not the best way to do that as a human. So oh, thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. See, Ron, hey, I'll get there one day. It's just going to be a little bit longer. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like I said, busy weekend, so obviously uh, I'll definitely be focused a little bit more on family after this live today. And so if by chance, I mean, I'll probably, if anybody writes anything, I'll probably return it, but probably won't be scheduling anything or, getting too deep into conversations with people just so that way I can, make sure I'm focused there. Unless my kids are all doing their own thing, around the house and they don't want to be bothered. So, then maybe I will. But I do have some other goals for myself as well. Ones that I was, uh, guided to do. So there is some things I am going to be fitting in for myself, and I might share that here with you guys. So good morning, Tanya, and yeah. So let's go. Let's just start in the beginning of the week, and hopefully, maybe some of you caught it, maybe you haven't. It is still on my page. Uh, you guys know that I've been, I'm real good friends with the Hearts of Collective Change ladies, Kathy, Bonnie, and Jennifer. And it's always a real treat for me to help them out or be a part of one of their shows or and so this past Monday on their show they started to do it where they're trying to make it monthly, is where anybody that's looking for healing, they gather, several of them. I mean, obviously there are three, and they usually bring in maybe about three more, so there's about six of us or so, and it varies, of course. And um we get together and we just we kind of talk about things, and this one in particular was all devoted to the sunflower, the super sunflower blood moon eclipse that was happening Wednesday morning. And because a lot of things have been happening previously, and to a lot of us, some maybe didn't even understand it, maybe you were moody, and again, I won't go too deep into the whole thing, because a lot of that's been talked during the week, especially on the Wednesday night show with Debbie and I on our Beyond the Silence radio page, and so I won't go too far down. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing this week was definitely been feeling it prior, so many people were, again, feeling odd sensations as far as, again, the moods and things, and some were cranky, or noticing others that were experiencing those kind of strange things. And obviously the key to the whole thing is releasing a lot of the things that have been on your mind, or things that you're trying to change, or move to something new. And that's the whole point, is now is the time, and it still is. You still have time to think about the things that are on your mind, the things that are, you know again, it could be anything, you know what I mean? And obviously there's things like relationships. That's an easy one to just kind of use an example. Maybe, whether it's a significant other, maybe it's a friend, an acquaintance or something like that. And maybe they're bringing you down, maybe they're just too negative, and obviously that stuff weighs you down, slows you down. And when you have that kind of thing, it kind of disrupts your life. And so that's a key example of just saying, you know what, I got to put my foot down. I got to get this out of my life. And so the idea is that, be like, you know what, I'm done with that, and, you know, maybe it's a close friend, maybe it's a family member, and as tough as it is, uh, you know, it's also the best move for you, and so getting, the strength to do it, of course, you have everybody here, and to uh support you. I mean, I'll definitely support you, and I know a lot of people that are watching or going to be watching this back, would support anybody that's going to need that extra little pat on the back, or that little shove to help them out, because it's tough. It's tough to make these decisions, and it's always easy to be like where I'm at right now, and I can tell you to, I'm blue in the face, but it's still up to you. And so, you know, we can only encourage so much, and to be able to finally, get that feeling that I can do this. I want to change. I need to make this change. And again, it could be anything, but like I said, I use the relationship thing as an example. And boom, you make that decision. You may have, some weird stuff. There might be some kickback, but you've started it. You've put your foot down. You've made that decision, and you're going to work through it, and you're going to move on. And you'll find out over the next several weeks that things are going to continue to get better for you, because you've let go of that. You've released it. And that's something I'm going to tie into here. So, and then see, now Judge Jennifer from HOCC, a good friend of mine. So she, there she goes. So helping me out here, that she is, explaining that, with the change that we're going through, we have until about the 10th of June for you guys to release the things that are bothering you, haunting you, and they uh let you go, whatever's on your mind, whatever it is that you need to change, you got to do it. You know what I mean? And so you have a big window right now, for the next, good week and a half, 2 weeks, to get this out of there. And again, if you need support, or you just need somebody to kind of give you a push, there's so many of us that are willing to do that, and we will. Um, but yep, let's see. Probably a great idea going with the flow, especially on the start of the retrograde seasons. For most of us, the spring until fall, great time for change. Yes, yeah, and that's the thing, is we look for, and I've said it before in the past. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I mean, I love astrology, but I'm terrible at keeping up with it. And so that's something I talk about all the time, is that I appreciate those that are watching, or what, that are friends of mine that really pay attention to it, because I need to rely on them to keep me. Hey, this is coming up. Oh, okay. Cool. And so, because there's so many other things that you just get tied up into, that you just I can't focus on it. I mean, you check it out, you maybe read a little bit, an article or something about it, and that's just what it is. Hey, good morning, Dennis. Hello, Fox. Well, I do have my I am a certified reverend, so I certainly could if I wanted to. I do have my card, so I am official. Um, so, but yeah, so that's obviously a big thing, and interesting is how that has really hit me. And I'm going to fast forward to, because that was obviously Wednesday morning. Oh, but let me finish up though. So that healing, with the HOCC, Hearts of Change Collective, um, we phenomenal. And if it's on my page, and you can always go to the HOCC page and watch these back because they're still beneficial. And even now, if you guys are looking for that push that I just talked about, going to that healing show and watching it back is still going to be very beneficial for you. It's still going to be powerful. If you open up to it, you're going to get something out of it, or you're going to get the messages you need to push through something, whatever you may need to drop or pick up on. So definitely check that out. And again, I've been able to help on, I think that was number 4. I think it was the 4th one, so it's like my 3rd. Yes, I think that's the number 4 they've done, because I've missed one, and so I'm always grateful that they brought me back. But the last 2 times and this one and the one the previous month, I've been able to incorporate my music into it, and so there's so many great things that all the healers do, and they all have their angle. They all have their passion of how they heal, and it's amazing that we can get all these people together. Not that it's difficult to do, but it's neat to have all these different ways of healing come together, in one moment, in one evening, and we all are able to present our version of how we can help you personally. And you might be glued to one person. You might take something from every healer that's there. And so that's the whole point. You're going to get something out of one of those, which I think is a great thing that they started doing. It's amazing, and it's always a blessing for me to be a part of it and do what I can, and so the last couple times I've been able to do music, and it's cool as you do get usually a comment in there that they're like, wow, that was really cool, I really noticed that, I felt that. And so but again, that's for everybody, because all the healers, and Jen's one of them, and everybody gets something out of it, and including us, I mean, even us as healers, we listen to other healers, even that moment, and there's times where we're noticing maybe something that one of them is doing, and you can't help but like even crack an eye open and look at them being like, whoa, this is heavy. And Jen can attest to that, because I think we've all done that, had those moments where it's like, even for us, that we whether we're about to do something or we've already done something, you're just sitting there like, woo hoo hoo. And we, every healing that we've done, after the show, we talk for a few minutes, and it's always like we kind of, man, dude, when you did this, holy smokes, we're just so taken back by some of the things that happen, and it's so organic, it's so beautiful, and it's just so needed. And like I said, it helps everybody, including us, that are taking part of that. So yeah. But yeah, it's cool. And I definitely love all those ladies, and Jen especially, and because I've always Jen and I are pretty close, and we there's pretty much almost every day that there's some type of message. Jen and I are always passing numbers back and forth. We've seen a triple number, or we see a sequence of numbers, and so that's kind of always fun to be able to do that. And we look them up together and be like, what's this, you mean? Oh, cool, Janet. I'm glad you did. Yes. Like I said, and remember, you guys can always watch these things back. You can watch my stuff back, so if you are watching this at a later date, we all appreciate that maybe you guys can still, get something out of it, and it definitely is appreciated big time. So we can't thank you guys enough for allowing to sit for an hour, or whatever you can sit through and listen to things, because times are weird right now. I think we don't have to really harp on that. Valerie, you can go to Hearts of Change Collective. That's easiest on Facebook, and they do have YouTube as well. So you can, if you don't want to be on Facebook and you want to go to YouTube, you can do that. And again, it won't be hard, because it'll be one of the last. I mean, they post a lot of other upcoming events, so you might have to scroll just a little bit, but you're going to see like a window of 6 of us, and you'll definitely see this long beard, hanging out in there. So just look for the beard. I'll stand out. So, uh, but Yeah, so hope you guys can. Again, if you haven't and you want to take even then, just go for a little bit, now in the beginning, like I said, we talk, we kind of get everybody set. We kind of, that's the whole point. Like even when I did my meditation show the weekend before, you know it's all about, you gotta kind of prep things a little bit, and talk a little, get everybody's relaxed, because sometimes there's a lot of anticipation. There's I can't wait, and that's still, even when you can't wait and you really want the session or whatever is going to happen, you still need to calm down a little bit, and so it's neat to uh, kind of talk for a little bit, even though it might be, you guys might not understand, that that's an important step before beginning. And so, you can't go, from a mind that's way up here to where we need to be down here in, like, you know, most people can't do that. A lot of us healers and channelers and things of that nature, we can do it because we've trained ourselves to do that, because we have to, at many, many times. But for a lot of you that maybe don't practice meditation and things like that, so you kind of need to slowly get yourself down there, so that way it's not as abrupt and harsh, because our minds are always racing, it's always chaotic. And so if you can train yourself to oh, cool, Jen's putting the link to it up there. Appreciate it, Jen, thank you so much. You guys can actually go into the comment section and highlight that, and then you can copy it, and then you can dump it into a new window. So, but if you can hang out with me for a little bit longer, I'd appreciate that. But that's okay. If you want to go check that out, I'm completely fine with that. So, but yeah. So I mean, again, it's just so cool. I mean, I just, you can't help but to be all happy and giddy over things like this, and share these things with all of you, and maybe you guys can, again, get something out of it for yourselves, and be open to it, because that's key too. Is it's one thing to just watch it, just like you know turning on the radio and just listening to the radio, just listening to music, it's just okay, it's there. But a lot of this stuff, we have to devote a uh our mindset to it, you know what I mean? And so stop for a moment, take a couple deep breaths, and open up to it. Maybe there's some things going on, maybe you need to release some things, or maybe you need to work on something else, or just receive some healing. So you've got to want it, and I cannot not harp on the fact that you know if you guys want something, and I'm talking about anything in life, you know, like, I need to get this. Well, you're going to go and do it, right? And, or I don't feel well. I think I should go see the doctor. You're going to go and do it because you've made that decision. It's just like with all this healing, all the things that, a lot of us practitioners do is to, you know, you got to be open to it, and you have to want it. It's a different mentality from where we all came from, from our beginnings, our roots, things, our how our souls have continued on for generations after generations. And, we're all trying to do the right thing and uh, uh, trying to finally make one of these lives matter the most, and how much of an impact we can be to people. And might sound cuckoo and off the wall for some, but others it resonates with. And those are the people that just, this isn't going to be for them at this particular time, but maybe the next one it will be. So uh, that's always key. And thank you, Jen. Ask for it, don't just sit and wait for it to hope. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much like we're trying to do the lottery too. I'm just gonna hope that I win the lottery, but oh, that's great. This is the point of ascensions that are happening at a fast pace right now. So sharing the resources, especially now, is what we can do, what we all can and should do. That's absolutely. Thank you for that. So true. So true. And wow, so that was cool, getting that, going through that again, and just having a wonderful experience. And I had some profound things happen. Again, like I said, we all have things happen, and there was I'm still trying. I'm like, right now in the back of my mind as I'm talking to you guys, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to share it or not, because I didn't even share it. I've only shared it with one other person, and so I've It's really, not that it's like it's for, I mean, that's in some ways for me, but it it will eventually come out, as far as um, for all of you at some point. But I guess it was powerful, and I think I'm being kind of told to kind of hold up a little bit. So I'll listen to my guides and say I'm gonna kind of shelf that for right now and just keep it for myself. But it eventually be known to all of you at some point. Um, Now, as we got closer to the end of the week, one of the things, most of you that know me, know I do, paranormal investigations and things. And so that was amazing. We had a private last night, and it was a group that's been there before. So what was neat was we really didn't even have to do the tour for them because they were here, I think, last year in the fall. So they didn't need it. So basically, we just said, okay, go. And that was cool because they could start right out of the gate instead of going through the tour. And um, even before we got there, Nancy, if she's still watching, can attest to, already having experiences and hearing things very clearly. And then when uh, there was only three of us there from the team that could make it, and uh, Stacy and I and Tim, you know, basically started hearing, a knock, and it was literally trying to get our attention. And so at one point it was like a couple times, and we are like, you know what, we're going. So Stacy and I kind of just got up and went over into this other room called the archive room. It's actually where they keep a lot of files and things, and a lot of history of Dundee, the village of Dundee, where the old mill is. And we got in there, and you couldn't technically, we weren't sure if the energy was there or not, like right away. And yeah, see there, Nancy's still here. Hey, Angela. Yeah, so like that's yeah. And so uh we, so Stacy and I went in there. We were kind of hanging out at the island, so Nancy's gonna know where we're talking about. And um we use this one particular spirit app that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. You got to be careful with some things out there, but this one's kind of proven its worth a lot more than we realize, but it was pretty darn neat. So we fired it up, and right out of the gate, hey Matt, how you doing, buddy? Good morning. And right out of the gate, we got a couple voices, and then we're kind of like, okay, cool, maybe we do have some hanging out with us. And now I'm not going to remember everything, and especially in the order and stuff, but let's just put it this way: there was a lot of dramatic moments for Stacy and I standing there, and some of the things we asked, and just some of the highlights was pretty wild. Margaret, it's called necrophonic, and um I will just pull it up so you guys can see it firsthand. I'll wait for it to load because it's got a little bit of a warm up here. So this is what it looks like. And I think it's $10. So it is a small fee for it, but it's really straight up. It's easy. You can hit the start button. I normally don't hit the echo button. Sometimes I'll hit the reverb button. And then if you just want straight noise, but it's um it's interesting because you're going to hear weird sounds and things like that, but uh it's amazing when crystal clear words start coming through, especially when you're asking something or you're just talking and they interrupt you. And I tell you what, though, like I said, there was so many moments that we were just kind of like, oh boy, and a couple of them that I can remember. You know, how many of you here, and we're trying to get numbers, and then you just hear here and stuff, and things like that. But then Stacy was noticing that she was having a little bit of an issue behind her ear and neck area, and she just goes, yeah, it's back here. And she didn't say anything specific. It's just like, yeah, it's back here, because I could see her. And then you hear hear her voice come through saying neck, and it was like, and we didn't even ask it, they just called it out, and we're like, did you do that? Yes. And we're like, okay, well, all right, well. And then I'm like trying to be, so I'm standing up, to kind of take charge a little bit. I'm like, okay, you need to ease up, let's not hurt Stacy, be a little bit nicer to her. And then they started kind of like poking her, like what felt like she said it was like a little electrical charges in her back. And then they said something like that where I can't remember the exact word it said, but it was like spot on. And I said, okay, enough. You don't need to do anything physically. We know you're here. We're talking to you. Let's just do this respectfully. And so Stacy was still feeling a little uncomfortable. So I said, well, just move around the island a little bit. And so she did, and it helped out a lot. So, we just started asking things, and man, you know, there was one time a voice came through and it sounded like somebody that we know that actually is a resident spirit in our location. And so we said, is this Bob, which is one of our uh, um, interesting spirits that are there? And you hear yeah, and then at that point, all these other voices that were kind of chiming in once in a while started saying his name. So you had a little kid saying Bob, you had different males saying Bob, you had ladies saying Bob, and it was like, you guys all know Bob or something? Or you just pointing it out that you do know or recognize that he is here in this building? And then we thought maybe it was him coming through. Maybe he was coming up, and that's why they were all saying his name, because he was going to say something or jump in, which we think he might have said a few words to us at that point, but he wasn't there the entire time. But we think he did, because there was one point we asked a question, and Bob can be a kind of a smart aleck. And sure enough, he did one of his patented, you ask a question, I can't remember what we asked, but it was just a smart aleck remark, and we were just like, yeah, that sounds like Bob. you know. So, well, yeah, like a classic is, can you tell us, like one time we were like, Bob, like, can you tell us your name or something like that? And he'd be like, name, just that kind of smart aleck stuff that it's like, thanks a lot, Bob. So, um, but, and then just a couple other things. I'm trying to remember God, but again, it was just cool. And the bad part was we were just kind of doing this on the spot. So it's like, we didn't have anything else. And I wish we would have recorded it, because it just, there was just so many things that came through that we were like, wow, that was pretty intense and stuff. And so that was kind of cool. And that was about all we really truly did. We did do a little bit more at our table later on in the night, just to see, and we got a few voices in there. Oh my gosh. One important thing to all my paranormal investigators that are here right now. Sometimes there's been, joke questions that we've all maybe you've heard somebody say it before. You might have seen a meme about it somewhere. You might know it. You might not. And this is a little variation of the one that I've always heard as a joke. And we were sitting there, Stacy and I, and all of a sudden at one point, we were a little bit of chit chat. Most of the time we were kind of just listening to see what they would do to take over. And what you hear this male come through, and all you hear is this, bleh, and it was like, but I can't do it right now, because I can't, but it was like a distinct burp. I'm not kidding you. Because we both locked eyes on each other, and did he just burp? And instantly said, yes, I did. And I went, and now we're blown. We're like, because one of the jokes, which I said is a variation of it, is always like, well, do ghosts fart? And so we said, well, and we have now answered the critical question that yes, ghosts do burp. So, which I wish at that point we had the recorder, because most people aren't going to believe it, but it was so classic. It was so hilarious. And we were dying laughing. I mean, like we were just laughing out loud, because it was hilarious to hear this burp and then confirm it. And then I think it was maybe close to 5 minutes later, you hear the same male come back saying burp. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it doesn't get any more, validation than that he's still talking about it, 5 minutes later. So, if you guys have ever wondered, is there other things that ghost spirits, however you want to call them, do? They do burp. So, I mean, that's true. And Nancy's even jumping in there, that, whistles. We have had whistles as well. Chandra, let me pull that up again real quickly because I know I can't spell it too well at all, but this is what it's called, necrophonic. And I'll hold it there for a second. Again, it's about $10. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Matt. Well, see, Matt spelled it out for me. Here, I'll just do this. I'll put Matt up there. Thank you, Matt. I'm not going to spell it without looking at it. That's for sure. Again, it's about $10, and it's real simple. I mean, you know, there's a few of them that, again, you're still going to have, people that are skeptical and stuff. And, and look, I get it. There's definitely some apps out there that they're garbage, but they're just trying to make a few bucks. And, and I did get a couple of those just, to have a laugh. But like this one and there's a couple others that, some people that have been in the industry a little while have found, some benefits to it. And so again, if you get relatively positive information back, especially if you're asking a question or it's things that are going on, or necrophonic, for me, had it at several times where they're calling for me, even on other apps, Ovuluses and things. I've had spirits asking for me. Where's Adam? Ask Adam. And it's nice to be recognized on the other side. so it's kind of cool, but especially when you hear your name being called, it just blows you away. And mine was called a couple times last night. We were sitting there, so it's like, it's kind of hard. And and at one point, and some people are going to say, well, it's tied to something, or it's recording like your voice and playing it back and things like that. You get to the point where, again, you got to find the right stuff. And like I said, you're going to hear a lot of gibberish. You're going to hear a lot of weird sounds. And then what ends up happening is you're looking for that crystal clear response. And a lot of times, you'll get it, and so you just kind of like, whoa, and you kind of just, okay, cool. And that's the neat thing about it. So again, it's not a main staple, for a tool, but sometimes, you always got your cell phone on you. So it's like, if you go to you just stop and turn it on and use it real quick. Cool. And that's the whole point. Sometimes, we when we're hosting, private and public investigations, if we didn't bring all our stuff, or we're just kind of, doing a quick little walk around, making sure everything's okay, we just got a flashlight and things. And so it is, it just, things happen. And so you can, if people are kind of crazy about it, like I said, I'm not gonna, say that, people are against it. That's fine. It's totally cool. You can put your phone in airplane mode and the app still works. So if you really want to rule out the fact that anything is coming in, from the outside, or it's, triggering from, radio stations or anything like that, online radio, put it in airplane mode. You're not going to, it's just, there it is, and it's not like, it's like an Ovilus where, yes, there is stored words in the storage area of the device, but that's the thing, is they're, the obvious and things, they're reaching in, grabbing the word and pulling it out, saying, this is what, we're trying to tell you, and even then, even that one, I love the Ovilus. I love it. It's another tool, that I love to use too. And, there's times where it seems pretty legit or spot on for what, we're asking, what we're doing, where we're at, situations. And so, again, the idea is to have as many tools in your kit as possible. And again, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, keep looking. Maybe you find something else that is, or if you have other devices or things that you'd rather work on. I mean, a lot of people are just straight up, they want, pictures or video and, or, audio recordings. Cool. I mean, I love that stuff too. I'm not saying everything, is, the greatest or whatever, but it's, the thing is, you have to have everything with you, try everything, because you just never know. You never know what's going to be the best that's going to pull out that information. There's times where, the spirits will be willing to talk to me. I'm sitting there saying out loud all the questions or, comments and things, and they're responding to me. And then there's times where they don't, they might be another team member. So, every day is a little different. And I think most people that have been doing this for quite some time know that. They know that they're not going to always get, it's not always going to be the one person on the team that's going to get everything. That's why you have a team. Everybody can kind of work together, and everybody asks a question. Let's see what spirits are connected to a little bit more. And great, then they're holding the equipment, they're holding EMF, stuff. And so, um, so that's what's kind of cool. I mean, have everything with you, or, if you're, a solo investigator, we'll have a few different devices out in front of you, because you just never know. At our old mill, there are spirits that don't won't touch some equipment, and they'll touch other equipment. There's some that won't speak at all, and they'll just only come up and physically touch you. And so again, you just don't know until you've had time. And again, with us being allowed to be there as much as we can be, and being the host team, and we get a lot of chances to practice a lot of stuff, and to be able to have the opportunity to really understand things, and to get to know our spirits. Because we always tell people too that have been there and maybe they're not getting so much, and we say, well, if you like, we'll tag along. We won't say nothing. We'll tag along and basically use us as a trigger object, because when they see one of us on the team, because we're there all the time, walk into a room and things happen. Again, there's been many times that I've tagged along with, a team, or, people that are new, and I just stay quiet, and activity happens, and they're just like, what's going on? So, and it's just this, our residential spirits are just comfortable with us, and they know if we're there, we're not going to be doing any harm or anything like that. And so then they're willing to chat, and so we obviously, can never guarantee it. I think anybody that's ever been there, you always hope that they're willing to chat with you that particular night. And it, it's just one of those things. So, hey, good morning, Rodney. Hey, Jill. Let's see. Yeah, it is pretty interesting, isn't it, Jill? Um, Sorry, I missed a few. Angela, I see what you were saying. It was Tectum or Cloud Chair. Wow. That's intense. so that was the mill. And one thing I'm going to do, because we're pretty much, we're about 15 minutes out from wrapping up, because I get to family stuff today. But then one thing I want to hit, and this is probably a good thing to end with. So, I we're going to kind of shift away from the paranormal here to wrap up the show. I've always tried to, give you guys an idea. That's the whole point of like this show too, is I can kind of what it's like doing what I do, kind of get a little insights and things like that. And there's a lot of stuff that I get to experience that, I can throw it out there. And those of you that are, opening up, or those that are just curious, because I mean, we're all curious on and some things or another, what it's like to go through situations and things. And so for me, it's easy for anybody, a position of where you can just, jump on a microphone, or, or whatnot, and preach, and say all these things. But then it's also, we have to sit there and do what we preach as well. And I'm in that position right now where, I have to sit there and do a little bit of work myself on myself. And, I didn't anticipate it. I didn't think this was something that was going to happen, but just to kind of give you guys a little bit, and I'm not going to get super detailed, but, the last, pretty much the last 24 hours, I've had some, and this is something I've suffered since 2017, is, anxiety and panic attacks. And that majority of it came from a job that I was doing, a few years prior to that. And, it's one thing to deal with a little bit of stress and stuff, but, it was so intense that, being somebody like me that, all I want to do is help. And then having basically everybody, yelling and screaming at you, during the workday, hurts. I think, nobody wants to be yelled at, for one thing, but being in the position that I am, where, my passion is helping, and I, up to, through that, I was still helping. And, because I can kind of, turn myself off and focus and help others, and to deal with what I've dealt with, and go through some of the things that I've done. It's rough. And so, you know, part of it was because of that job, so anytime I do something similar to that, it stings. It brings back these memories, which is horrible on me, to sit there and still keep reliving these traumatic moments for that job and what I went through. And when I talked about it in the beginning of the show, with the whole sunflower, blood moon, super eclipse thing, this is one of those things where, sometime today, in between, being with my family, that I got to sit there and do a big release. I have to get this off of me because it's been on me for so long. And anytime I'm in this position where I'm doing basically that job in a smaller version for the next, say 4, 6 days, 6 business days. So Tuesday through Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday the following week. And I don't want to be waking up every morning. I don't want to be losing sleep, and I don't want to be having constant, panic and anxiety attacks, because they suck. For me, it's, a lot of chest pains. It feels like, somebody took a sledgehammer and just hit you square in the chest. And so, and it's not, it's nothing truly health related, because it is more mental, but you feel the physical signs of it. So, um, so it's not heart related, because the ticker's doing just fine. I've been checked out, and so, but it was rough. And yesterday, I woke up that way, and then, got going. Things were okay. And luckily it's a holiday weekend, so there wasn't really anything I had to do. So that was kind of nice, that where I had to constantly keep checking on things, but there was no, we call fires, is where it's like, okay, something's happening, you got to deal with it, and you got to put that fire out. If for what I do, and didn't have to worry about that, so I was kind of grateful for that. And you know I mentioned in my post yesterday, and hopefully some of you, maybe you participated. I talked about a challenge for you guys, and a lot of us, in where we're at, was dealing with rain yesterday morning, or almost all day. And what was really cool was, okay, so I was dealing with the anxiety and was hurting, and I knew if I went outside and I stood out in the rain, that if I did my prayers and then uh ask Earth Mother to, cleanse me of what's going on, to help me out, because I obviously didn't want to have this issue all day long. So I go outside, standing out in the rain, and do my prayers. When I got done, I, said, hey Dave, how you doing, buddy? Cheers. I, you know immediately went into mode of, accepting the rain that was hitting me, on the head, and the rest of my body. And I started envisioning seeing all that anxiety, all that stress of the day, washing off of me. And as I'm doing that, I'm asking Earth Mother to help me with that. And again, even though it's just raindrops, so it's not obviously like a shower, you're being just literally dumped on with water, but it's still the same thing. And given that it's coming from nature, it has a huge impact. And so, I mean, as soon as thinking all this, which is what you were doing, and allowing it to cleanse you, because I put that intention out there. This is what I need. This is what I want to happen. Good morning, Janet. That instantly, I mean, again, it feels like, when I have, a panic or anxiety attack, it feels like I've, been hit in the chest with a sledgehammer. I mean, on a dime. I mean, literally so quick. Good morning, Laura. That it just left, and it shows you that if you truly open yourselves up, you truly let go and ask for what you need at that particular moment, it'll happen. And the more you do it, the more serious you are. And again, it's the intention behind it. You're not just thinking, well, I'll see if it try, I'll try to see if it works. It's not going to cut it. And because I've done it enough on various things throughout, this journey of mine, that it was amazing to go from this, feeling like I have a hole in my chest, to absolutely feeling normal again. And, it just proves that, everybody can do it. And even if it doesn't feel like it's not working, you've started the process. And that's why I've always said, and I said in my book, I can't harp enough on rain. We've all have given rain too much of a bad rap, and it's unfair because they don't realize the real true spiritual benefits you get from rain. And I'm going to keep harping on this until I'm done in this life, that it's okay to go step out in the rain for a few seconds and do a couple deep breaths or something. I understand if it's lightning and thundering, maybe not the best idea, but on a normal shower, rain, sprinkles, you know, we need to get back to that, because that's stuff that we did. Our ancestors did that. They had to or endure it, but they accepted it. They didn't treat it as a bad thing. And I hate watching people, and I hate to use the word hate, but it's really stinks to see how so many will put on there, oh, it's raining, oh, this is gonna be a crummy day. And it's like, you just completely set your day to be that way. And it's unfortunate. It truly is unfortunate that you can't sit there and take a situation and make it better. And that's, something I talk about with you guys all the time, whether it's I'm writing it or I'm talking, physically telling you guys, you've got to just stop putting bad things, you're putting the bad stuff out there then. And then why do you think then your day is terrible? Why do you think everything feels like it's falling apart, or you're getting one bad thing after another? Because you did it. You did it. You didn't turn it around. And it even doesn't even have to be rain. But maybe you're worried about something coming up, like me. I started freaking out about, the temporary switch that I'm doing, the job I'm filling in for. And that's my fault. I let it in, and now I have to handle it. And that's okay, because I recognized it. I know it. I even had, a close friend of mine, just kind of reiterate, hey, don't forget this. And, sometimes I can be a little blind about things, and try to figure it out, mentally, instead of knowing, nope, I need to do I know what needs to be done. So let's do it. And, it's important, that's why I want to make sure I get this across, is that, we we're all capable of things. Are you willing to open yourselves out and not put, a negative twist on anything? Like I said, I hate watching people say, oh, the rain sucks, now I got to be stuck indoors all day. You can make a good day out of being indoors. There's a lot of things you can do. you know again, it could be anything and everything can be still done. And even then, our ancestors, if it was a rainy day, they had other things they could do. They had other projects, they had other things to attend to. It gives them a chance to focus on something. And so we grew up that way, and we've lost it because, obviously there's a lot of things that are handed to us, from the sense that, we could go to the store and get our own food. We don't have to sit there and go out into nature and forage for it. And so there's a lot of things that we've lost. And it's important because even then, when you hear a lot of the stories that have been passed down, and I don't care what culture, anywhere around the world, they've all been through the exact same thing. And obviously some regions, might be more desert, so they're not going to deal with rain, but they're dealing with heat, and stuff. And so, the idea, excuse me, is to get back to things that it's in our DNA. It's what we are used to, and know. It's just, are you willing to tap into it and bring that back out, and not, uh dwell in negative things. If even if you're positive and you're having a rough day, you can still be positive through it. I've had horrible days. I mean, we all have, but I've kept pushing the positive stuff. I'm like, it's okay, no big deal. We're going to keep going. We're going to do this, that, or whatever it is. You keep pushing through it, and it'll eventually get better. But it's because you're learning things. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're fighting through it, and you're just going to push it. You're not going to dwell in it, because that's all it wants. It wants to win and make you fall in the chair or couch and bed and just kind of boo-hoo and stuck watching TV and stuff like that. And you've now not done anything that you are potential and capable of doing. So, you know, we've got to do some things, and we are in a position, especially now, everywhere in the world, that we really need to, get our butts back outside. We need to open up to it. We need to, start pushing this positive stuff and start making making the world a better place. Being stuck indoors, it looks like, we're not getting anywhere. Am I wrong? If we're stuck indoors, it's not a whole lot, happening. It seems like there's more harm than good being stuck indoors. And even with the pandemic, you didn't people were out walking my neighborhood. They still were making efforts to get outside and do things, get healthier. It's how you want to make it. I know I've missed a bunch of people saying some stuff. Um, let's see. That's cool, Dave. You're out in the rain yesterday. That's awesome, dude. Yep. Let's see. So I'm just reading real quick, real quick. Yeah. And appreciate all those comments and stuff, because I know we're getting close to the end here, but um yeah, guys, and even then, like this morning, I was feeling a little bit, because there's a lot of times when you have anxiety, most of the time the anxiety is from the day before, or if it's such a traumatic moment the day of, that you'll experience it. But a lot of times, you'll be dealing with things the day before that are now affecting you in the current day. So obviously, me having a little bit this morning, which was light, uh, that it's not bad. And see, I get a chance to talk to you guys and share this stuff, because again, we all might be going through something like this, and even then, for me to be in the middle of some moment, but it's important to know that I'm human just like everybody else, and I got to deal with issues and handle it. And so, but I want to make sure you guys understand that today, when there's a moment, you know I'll probably be sitting right back in this exact same chair, and I'm going to do a hard release and really try to get this, completely done 100%. So that way I'm never going to have to worry about this. So when I'm ever in this position for the work side of things, it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to let it, hurt me anymore, because I'm done with it. And so I'm putting my foot down and saying, this is it. I'm getting this off my back, and it's not going to weigh me down anymore and cause me to have problems. So, oh, thank you, Laura. And yeah, it's but like I said, it's important. And to obviously there's lots of other little details and things, but the main thing is, to know that we're all in this. We all deal with things at various states, and so if there's something I can do or something I can say that help push somebody to do the same thing, and even if it's not right now, maybe it's in a few months, or in a year. That's the whole thing, is maybe you'll remember this conversation and know that you're all very, very, very capable of getting things that don't belong with you or on you or in you. You can get it out of your life, and for good, and finally close that chapter and move on, and see what new doors are going to open up for you. So, oh, thank you, Sharon. You have a great Memorial weekend. And yeah, so again, I always try to find something to kind of throw in there, at some point during one of my lives or in my post, about some way of giving you guys some positive information, positive impact, or maybe it's a story that can help you out in some shape or form. And hopefully, some of this will work, or some of this you can just kind of store for a later date, and that's going to be cool. And you know you might hear a different variation from other people that do shows or write books and things like that. And you know sometimes it just takes the right person for it to make sense, and hopefully I made sense to you. And again, if it can help you out, that's awesome. I mean, and that's why it's neat to be able to share situations, especially when they are going on, and I am dealing with, stuff that, that hurts, physically. And so, uh, you know, I can certainly hide it like, no other. There's a lot of things that have gone on that I just like, I'm not gonna show it. I'm gonna be fun. I'm gonna be laughing, and nobody will know the difference. So but so good. It is 10:30, so I am going to get going. And let me see a real couple little things real quick. Um, Yeah, Rodney, that's a great point. That's an excellent way to release things. I mean, some people don't always have all the best techniques of how to get things off of them, and to write down a lot of things that are bothering you, and then you kind of go out and you burn those. Obviously outdoors, don't do it indoors. Go outside and burn those messages or things that are bothering you, and that's a great way of releasing it. Into the air. So very sure. Yeah, Dave, it could be a handful at times. So oh, thanks, Janet. Appreciate that. Um, and then Jennifer kind of hitting there real quickly. Mercury retrograde. So what do you want or need to say someone that you never said to defend yourself or express your feelings? Say it to the source. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Jen. And then Matt, you have a great weekend as well. So um I appreciate you guys. I really do. And it means a lot to just, come up here and try to post when I can during the week, and come up here and give you guys some messages, show you some real things, that are going on, and you can actually hear it. You might be able to see it in my face sometimes. That's pretty dramatic. I think that's you guys notice, you watch the beginning of the show, watch how different I looked compared to where I am now. Um, because even then I was like, trying to sip coffee a little bit. So you could definitely tell in the beginning of this live, I was kind of hurting a little bit. It was weird. I was ready to go, but I obviously wasn't. So, but that's okay. I'm good now. But, so real quickly, again, happy Memorial Day to all the men and women of the armed services. I can't, well, I know we all, and I'm kind of saying it for everybody, but we appreciate what you've done, your sacrifices you've made for us, and it really means a lot. So, regardless, this is a great weekend, at least highlight it, but we're always thinking about all of you, and it means a lot, for what you've done. And so thank you so much. Happy birthday to my son Nathan today, and then happy birthday to my daughter on Monday. So I want to say that live. And again, thank you to each and every one of you. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me, whether you're now finishing up watching this live Saturday morning, or if you're checking this out at a later time, or when I put this down in an audio only version on a podcast. So it means a lot that you guys are hanging out, watching, and again, I can't thank you guys enough. So thank you for all the birthday wishes for my kids. And yep, Dave, love you too, buddy. Nicole, Janet, Jennifer, thank you so much. You guys awesome. You guys are awesome. So I will going to get out of here. So I might not be really posting anything other than when I get the audio version of this done. And hopefully I'll start being able to post some things next week, maybe give you some little more, because I'm going to be working from home for the next 6 days. So thank you so much. You guys have been watching the Mid-Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thanks. And I will see you again very soon. And all my love and light to each and every one of you.